Today we're back looking at some creepy stalkers who were caught on TikTok.
I have a stalker, and this update is probably the scariest one yet. Something really freaking scary happened last night. I was sound asleep, and at 3:28, my TV just turns on.
Oh god, that's really freaking. Do you want to know what makes it even worse? The fact that it happened at 3 a.m. I feel like if it happened like 5 a.m., 1 a.m., that's fine. However, 3 a.m., nah, that's like the creepy hour.
And it doesn't just turn on to like the title screen or anything. It goes to that random video, like ferrets from the same people who made Charlie the Unicorn. And I thought it was like an alarm, so I was like, Alexa, turn the alarm off, and she didn't. And I was like, Alexa, turn the podcast off, and she didn't. And I realized that it was coming from downstairs.
Ooh.
I go downstairs because it's really loud, and I take the remote and I turn it off, and I go upstairs and I don't think anything of it. Then I remembered about that randomly at work, and I was like, that's really weird. And so I thought to check my cameras, and my free trial expired, so none of my cameras were visually picking up anything, but they did detect the motion. And at exactly 3:28, well, first of all, I think it was 3:13 before this happens, like 15 minutes before, it detected a motion where the cars are, and the car windows you can like see to the living room. And then at 3:28, right as I got up and turned the TV off, there was more motion in the cars. So I'm thinking maybe it was my stalker just trying to see if I was home or if I was awake or something. I don't know for sure, but do any of you guys know if you can turn on an LG TV without a remote? Like if you could do it on your iPhone, or if you could buy like the same remote and be able to turn it on like that, because I'm not sure what it was, but yeah.
Okay, so I won't lie, it could possibly be someone connecting to your TV with their phone, because I do it all the time by accident. You know, I'm always on my phone, you know, watching like a YouTube video, and then it accidentally connects to my Apple TV. However, that's an Apple TV, that's an LG TV. But I do believe there's a possibility that maybe he might be able to connect that way, I don't know.
And I'm gonna provide receipts. Okay. So as you can see over here, where I circled, at 3:13 a.m., there was movement in my cars. Sorry, I blacked out my address over there, and then 3:28 inside front where I turned off the TV, there was more movement, and then once again at 3:28. So I think someone turned on my TV, was watching from my cars, and then left when they saw I was awake, but I'm not sure. I need you guys to help me and to help me figure it out. So yeah, if you have any information on how LG TV works, that would be great.
I mean, by the sounds of it, yeah, it looks like it was somebody, and that's quite freaky. The thing is with stalkers, a lot of the time the police cannot do anything until the stalkers actually physically make contact and touch you. And usually by that point, it's way too late. Girl, that person has been in your house. Don't brush off the stalker. Exactly. Oh my god. And even whenever you're talking about the stalker, don't say my stalker, say the stalker. Think of it, if you say my stalker, it makes it more personal, and like it feels like it's got a connection with you. If you say the stalker, it doesn't feel as like connected. I gotta be real, if I had a stalker and my TV turns on randomly in the middle of the night, I'm going to assume that's connected. Exactly, like it could just be a really weird coincidence. I don't know, maybe someone accidentally connected outside, like in another house. However, I don't think that's the case, and so to the fact that like it was showing signs of like someone stood outside like your car and then like inside your home at one point, like that's really freaky. Girl, get those cameras working immediately and get protection stronger than maze. Stalkers will find out all your personal details, and I guarantee exactly, like that's actually really freaky. It's quite easy to find out a lot of information about somebody, how much they make, what their phone number is, who their family are. Like it's really easy, and especially if someone's obsessed with you like that, you know, they'll find it out within the space of like a day. Oh god.
My slider was cracked when I got home, and it looks like my doors.
Yeah, it looks like it has been kicked in.
This door was completely locked.
So yeah, it looks like someone has been
And
in our
was
house.
sick. Do it again.
Oh, so that
We're not
person's
as safe
lifted
as
it up
we
like
think.
that. Oh god, that's really freaky. Is that like what all sliding doors are like? So basically, if you walk up, you can lift it up and open it. Oh, I mean, I don't have sliding doors like that, but I do know people who've got sliding doors like that. Honestly, after that, those sliders would be taken out and solid doors put in with deadbolts and reinforcement crazy. I mean, I honestly hope this girl takes this serious. And the thing is as well, it's really sad to think that we have to spend money in protection because of what somebody else does to us. Obviously, someone's been snooping around her back garden. They've got into her house by the looks of it. They've been able to lift the door up. That's just freaky. It's like, why is someone doing that? Whenever it comes to stalkers, we all know about them, but it's the fact that like that's actually somebody stalking you. You know, somebody's got an obsession with you and is basically following you around.
Scary stalkers caught on camera. This scared man was recording a video with his phone saying that someone was following him.
I'm pretty sure I'm being followed. I've been taking a rather circuitous route. See that woman back there? I've been taking a rather circuitous route around. And she got interested in what I was up to.
Yeah, I'm not joking. Sometimes whenever I'm out and about and like I think someone's following me, I start recording like that. That's why I take my phone everywhere and I always have my location being tracked. Because like if you're literally walking out and about like that, someone can start following you. And I feel like a lot of times whenever it comes to stalking, people think it's women getting stalked, but men can get stalked by women. Men can get stalked by men. Women can get stalked by women. You know, literally anyone of any race, size, sexuality, they can get stalked.
This woman was returning home when suddenly...
Oh. Nah, I'm sorry, that right there is very, very sketchy. It's dangerous. That man literally tried to get in. Nah, I don't like that. That's not normal. The way that man ran after her to try to get into her house, nah, that woman needs to call the police immediately.
This woman was peacefully walking around with her son, but then...
Ooh. Oh my god, so I'm assuming that man basically was going to try and grab her child. It's also the fact that like he walked up whenever he was caught, he started running off. Nah, I'm so sorry. This is why I need to be careful out and about in the world because there's creepy people like that.
A woman named Chrissy is making a vlog at the store, which is typical for her channel. The video is going smoothly when she eventually realizes that she's being stalked by someone she doesn't know. Much like the other stories on this list, Chrissy does her best not to escalate the situation, which is always the safest thing to do in a situation like this. If you try to confront the stranger head on, you may find yourself in more danger than you could have anticipated. At one point, however, the stranger even attempted to enter Chrissy's vehicle, but was thankfully unable to do so.
You're not getting in my car. You tripping. You tripping. Nope, you're not getting in my car. I unlocked my door, but you rushed to my passenger. You're not getting in my car. Sorry.
Chrissy was able to go home and get to safety, but was obviously terrified because of the situation she found herself in. Let's hope this terrifying stranger isn't still roaming the streets, looking for his next victim.
Oh god, yeah, that is very, very weird. It's also the fact that he basically tried to get into her car. Now, I don't like that. That's why I'm actually really scared of going out into the world. Because usually whenever I go somewhere, I always go on my own and always in the dark. Like, I'm always going out at night time. And think of it, imagine if he's doing that during daylight. Imagine what he's doing whenever it's dark outside. Okay, so this next stalker TikTok has got two parts. They've got a TikTok and then they got a follow-up.
I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it! Cause I'm a gremlin!
So as you can see by that TikTok, that person's basically saying a stalker was door dashing her food and then she would eat it. Not a good decision, I won't lie. And here is the follow-up.
Hey, what's up?
You're actually here. Do you want to share a drink and play pool, or
Oh,
are
I
you busy?
can't. I have my son.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Yeah.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Okay, so I'm assuming that was the stalker and he literally was like, oh, you're home. So that means that he's knocked on her door beforehand whenever she's not been there. You're actually here is so scary. Exactly like that literally makes me think that like he's been doing that before. You know, he's been going up to her apartment, knocking on it and then not getting a response. You're actually here. He knew you were there and was trying to validate in his mind that he didn't know so he doesn't feel weird, LMAO. It's just like he knew. Actually thinking about it now, yeah, that would make sense. Because I've done stuff like that where it's like, you know, you want to know if someone's up or blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, I didn't know you were up, blah, blah, blah. But then you like did know or you wanted them to be. So he's basically went there and knocked on her door to see if she was in and was like, oh, do you want to like have like a glass of wine? I mean, no, how about not? And yet again, it's the fact that she's been eating the food that he's been door dashing to her. She needs to be careful because he could literally put like sleeping pills in it. I read somewhere that stalkers and voyeurs are the most dangerous types of criminals because their behavior escalates. Exactly like with a stalker, if they usually make one-on-one contact, you know, it escalates very, very quickly. I watch a lot of NCIS and Criminal Minds, and usually whenever, you know, the stalker makes contact, within the space of like a week, they've completely fallen off, like they've went cuckoo. Girl, oh my god, please do not open the door for him ever. Don't interact, just report it to the police and ignore. I needed proof to shoot a police scene, knocked hundreds of times, but I needed a video. See, it's the fact that she needs a video to prove that she's being stalked, which is really, really sad. She should be able to go to the police and explain the situations went on, then get help and get like a restraining order. But it's the fact that he's been knocking on her door hundreds of times, been sending her food, and she needed a video of him knocking to show proof. How about the police actually do their job and investigate it?
Here's the story time of the crazy stalker that I had when I was living in Miami. I wish this was a joke. This is also why I don't post where I am in real time.
Fun fact, that's actually what I do as well. I don't really leave my house that often, or I used to. Whenever I'd be going out and about, if I was at a specific location, I would, you know, take videos, save it to my camera roll, and then like post it an hour after I left. Basically, I used to be verified in Snapchat, and whenever you're verified in Snapchat, you get like 1 million+ views. Before I was verified, I'd get like 5,000 or 6,000 views, and then whenever I got verified, like millions of people were watching my stories. It was crazy. And you know, if you post your location, people are able to figure out where you are. They will turn up. And you know, I obviously had people who watch, you know, my main channel videos who want to take photos. I was fine with that. But then in the back of my head, I was thinking, oh my god, what happens if like some creepy person figures out where I am and then they follow me, and I've got a feeling this happened to her.
This guy to this day still scares me. I was 21. I got my first big girl apartment in Miami, and I was always out and about and doing things with my friends. I started to get into a routine of the places that I was going to and constantly posting as I was there. And looking back at it, I feel really dumb because I would go to the same places on the same day of the week because it was like the popular place to go to.
Don't feel dumb because it's a thing that everyone does, and that's why you should have a routine but also switch it up. For example, I don't know, let's say every week you have a specific thing that you do at a specific time. Maybe every so often switch it up so you do it at a different time or do it like a different day. It could be walks, you know, going to the gym. Because think of it, if someone's following you and you're constantly doing every single thing at the exact same time, they're going to be able to follow you really easily. Oh my god, this person goes to the gym at this time, I'm going to sit there and watch them do it. And then they go home and do this and this day and that day. Think of it, in the end, if you know, mix it up a wee bit, they'll not be able to fully tell what your routine is. So that's why I always say to people, be very careful about routines, etc. You know, it's good to have a good schedule and routine, but be careful, you know, how often you do it, and never post whenever you're actually doing it.
One night I'm at dinner at this place with my assistant at the time and with the owner of the restaurant. We were all having dinner and celebrating because I had just hired my first employee at the time. And when I'm out, I sometimes get to meet you guys, which is super exciting. It's never uncomfortable, and I'm always really happy to meet everyone that comes up to me. I posted I was at this restaurant, and 20 minutes later, a guy walks into the restaurant and finds my table where I'm sitting and comes up to me.
See, the thing is, I've literally went through similar experiences where I posted my location and people have came up and asked for photos. That's amazing. However, now that it's a couple of years later, looking back at it, that was like a bad decision. Even then people were harmless, it still could have turned into a harmful situation.
Didn't think anything of it at first. He asked me for a photo, I posed for the photo, but the guy would not leave the table. Like, he wouldn't walk away. Making a lot of small talk, which I didn't mind, but the weirdest part about this, and it's not weird, but he was with his kids, and he had 2 little boys that were with him, and he just kept continuing to talk to me. And I think my friend that I was with started to get the hint that I was getting a little bit uncomfortable and I wanted to go back to my dinner and conversation.
Oh wait, so she was literally eating dinner? Yeah, don't go up to someone whenever they're eating dinner, that's weird. That's the fact he brought his kids along. Do you reckon he brought them along as like a wee token, like, oh, you know, I've got my wee kids, I'm gonna talk to you? I also hate it whenever you're talking to someone they don't get a hint that like you want to end the conversation. It's so awkward.
But I obviously didn't want to be the one to tell him like, hey, it's nice to meet you, but like I have to get back to my dinner. So the security asked him to leave. Throughout this entire interaction, I had my phone unlocked in my hand, and before he left, he grabs my phone, follows himself on Instagram, and says, I want to take you to dinner. I kind of just remember that I laughed uncomfortably, and then he just got like pushed off by security, so I didn't get to respond. And something that he said really stuck with me, and it was like, I always check your Instagram to see where you are and try and show up in time so I can run into you. Meaning that this isn't the first time he's left his house to find me, and this is just the first time that he caught me in time. A week goes by, I unfollow him when I got home, and I don't think anything of it. Shopping in a mall with my 2 guy best friends. It's an outdoor mall. We're running around, and I just want to emphasize, I am so grateful that my 2 guy best friends were there. And I run into this guy again, comes up to me and is trying to make conversation, and I was like, oh, hi, and like immediately dismiss him. I think me dismissing him completely bruised his ego and pissed him off. An hour later, I'm at Target and I'm checking out with my 2 guy best friends, and this guy shows up as we're checking out. This guy is fully going off at me at this Target, telling him why am I shooting down his advances, calling me horrible things in front of everyone. And mind you, I don't even know this person. He's threatening me, telling me he knows where I live. And mind you, his little boys are right there as he's doing this entire thing. His ego was bruised because he started throwing his car keys at me. He's like, look, I drive a Porsche, throwing cash at the lady. best friends and I start yelling back at him. I start telling this guy how uncomfortable I am and how he's causing a scene. I start feeling really bad for his kids that are just standing there and watching their dad go off on a girl who owes nothing to him. By that time, the situation had escalated to the point where security escorted him out. I never saw him again, but I also never posted where I was when I was there.
So yeah, basically what happened was, you know, he seen you were at a certain location, came up to you, and then he was able to follow you from there. That's just freaky that he brought his kids along with him the whole time, isn't it? Yeah, again, men out there are very weird, and that right there is why I do not post your location ever. It's scary how some people think you owe them something and start being obsessive and a stalker. Exactly, and it's also the fact he got very, very angry. It's just weird, like it's a really weird, uncomfortable situation.
So I have a stalker. He went to jail. Telling this story physically and emotionally rattles me, but I will do it because I know it might help someone else. I went to Wisconsin, and on the second floor of the college library were where like all the frat and sorority girls hung out and did their work. So I noticed that something was off when there was one guy. He was alone, he wasn't with anyone, and he would be directly across from me at all times, smiling at me. And I'm a really friendly person, so at first I smiled back because I'm always down to make new friends. And then I realized he was constantly staring at me from 6 to 12 every night when I was in the library. It got to a point where it was day after day, so I started moving tables. And I would move tables, and he'd still be directly across from me, and he'd get up to move to be across from me. He would smile, and it wasn't a funny smile or a nice smile. It was a scary smile. He started following me on the streets. I would turn around, he would be there, and he'd be smiling. The worst part is everyone told me I was crazy, and no one believed me, but I knew it was wrong. Part 2.
Okay, so I don't have part 2, but I'm assuming basically in the end he was told to F off and like finally got away from her and like went to jail, etc. But it's also the fact like whenever he was smiling at her, it wasn't like a comfortable smile, it was a creepy smile. I've noticed that a lot. It's just weird, like whenever someone smiles at you like that and you can tell their intention, oh, it just makes you feel sick. Yes, I had a stalker similar with a neighbour of ours. Called the police and reported him. He has a record now for stalking. I mean, thank God he was able to get, you know, put into jail and have a record against his name. However, in a lot of cases, especially in the UK, the stalkers don't. It's so hard to prosecute a stalker, and it's just so wrong in so many levels.
So this clip is gonna take a moment to get to the real juicy part of it. You'll hear his flip-flops coming down the street. Wasn't being very quiet, but he is my stalker, and I was getting phone calls for hours this night, and I had a gut feeling something bad was gonna happen, and so I went outside and hid to try to get proof of it, because it has been years. And yeah, I wonder if we can hear him yet. There he is, in flip-flops and a hoodie. You will see him, here we are, unlock my car with a key I don't know how he got, and hide in the back seat.
Hide in the back seat.
It's creepy and spooky every time I see it.
Yet again, I wasn't able to get part 2, but it's the fact you could literally hear him flopping around in his flip-flops, and he was able to get a key for your car and sit in the back seat. That's quite serious. You need to call the police. Don't refer to the stalker as my stalker. They will feel closer to you, and you definitely don't want them to feel that way. Exactly, that's why I was saying earlier in the video, say this stalker, not my stalker. Whenever you say my stalker, it makes them feel personal and close to you. How did he get a key to get in your car? I mean, stalkers are crazy. They're able to do anything. They will get every single piece of evidence of you, and it's freaky how much they can actually get. They'll be able to hack into your Wi-Fi, get photos of you that you like never post online. Like, these stalkers, they're creepy. Not him hiding in the back seat. Exactly, it's weird. Oh my gosh, girl, are you safe now? This was almost 2 years ago, and it's still happening. This man is wild. So you're telling me this has been going on for 2 years and this man is still doing it? I'm so sorry, but the police completely failed her. How has this been happening and he hasn't got arrested and this girl is still like in danger? Well, anyways, guys, that's some creepy stalkers on TikTok. Moral of the story, be very, very careful. If you do think you've got a stalker or someone's following you, call the police, and hopefully the police will be able to deal with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're press the big red subscribe button. If you want to see me do more creepy videos like this, let me know, definitely will. And I'll see you all tomorrow for another video.